Okay, so welcome. You're all incredibly welcome. A lot of you are new to me. So it might be the first time you see me, maybe the second or third time you've seen me on the old internet, but it might be the first time that you're here. There are some very familiar faces as well, which is so lovely to see. Hello, Zoe Myers. And hello, Armand Drew. Uh, so it's lovely to see some of the familiar people and lovely to see some of the not so familiar people. You're all incredibly welcome. I have a cup of tea. It is lashing outside. Are you the same, Sinead? Lashing outside. Have you got a cup of tea? Yep. Okay. All right. So the first question is this. How did you find getting here on a Monday? Was it a disaster or was it all right? Is everybody else locked in all their rooms out of the way and told not to come near you? Debbie's laughing and shaking her head. Yes, I know. So is mine. I am looking forward to the hour or so that we have together, and I am hoping that we have some lovely time together. In the chat, can you see your chat at the side? Will you let me know what literally drying my dog after a walk, Lisa? Yes, I know. Let me know how you found your Monday evening and how you feel about being here. Has it been hectic? Can you take a breath? How are you feeling in this moment? Just type it in the chat for me, please, so that I can see where everybody's at. I know it's such a we don't normally do these on a Monday, but today we chose overwhelmed for days. I know, David. I know, and that is also another thing. Here is the reality of it. A bit tired, Debbie. I know, absolutely. But isn't that the loveliness of it? Isn't that the truth of it? Yeah. Oh, good, Yen. Yen wasn't in the mood. I love that. That is just absolutely perfect. Be curious. Sure, that is the best. A few hours to relax, feeling okay, feeling numb, okay, not under too much pressure, feel good and looking forward to it. All right, a mixture of it all. And isn't that the truth of where we find ourselves? Just as it is, just where we are. Isn't that the truth? And isn't it the truth of crazy lives? And a lot of us, most of us here are therapeutically trained. Hello, Paulina. Ah, it's good to see you. Good. Okay, I love that, Martina. Martina says, I nearly didn't come on with how much easier it is to stay scrolling. How true is that? Or cleaning something, or doing something, or looking after somebody, or, well, not mention taxes, or any of them things that should have been done a long time ago. So I appreciate all of that to say this. I appreciate your time. I know some of you know me, I know a lot of you don't. And so I appreciate the time that you will spend on a Monday evening. And it is my absolutely deepest intention and truest intention to serve you as best I can with the knowledge and the information that I have this evening. So if everybody is ready, grab your cup of tea, grab whatever it is that you're drinking or eating, and we will come together now for this incredible workshop. What are we here for? Something that is incredibly important in our field and something that is the work of our lifetime. I fundamentally believe that. Why we are doing work but not finding resolution. Why we have done so much work on ourselves, why we have done whatever work it might be, and we're still repeating the patterns. We're repeating the patterns of not good enough, we're repeating the patterns of imposter syndrome, we're repeating the patterns, whatever those patterns are. Normally, for therapists and coaches, it's normally all around a not good enoughness that just keeps regurgitating and showing and showing and showing and showing. And so that's why we are gathered. We're gathered in a collective energy. And I'm going to serve you as best I can to help you understand what is going on here and why this is happening for you. So that is fundamentally what we're going to do. I'm going to share a load of slides with you. I'm going to share a load of information with you, and we'll walk through that together. Feel free to take any screenshots that you need. Feel free to take any, you can use your phone and just feel free. If you're going to post it or if you're going to put it on socials, please do us the favour of just tagging us and on it. It is all branded anyway, but just do us that favour. When I said that we're here under one important topic, do you all agree with what I said? The repeated nature of our healing, the constant circling and cycling. Does everybody feel that that is a fair, just put yes in the chat or Y in the chat, and we'll start to look at our first, yeah. I think that's really important. Can everybody take a wee look at the chat? I do this all of the time in these classes, and the reason why is because we are a collective of therapists and coaches and helping professionals. And everybody thinks that they're on their own when it comes to this, but they're not. I have 150 people answered the call. It was a week's call. We just put a few ads into Facebook, a week's call, 150 people in the island of Ireland and the UK. We didn't even go further afield. I know there's some Americans on here, but we didn't go further afield. We had 150 people that answered that call, all therapists, all coaches. And everybody that comes, everybody that I serve on a daily basis, everybody has this notion that they're the only ones, and you're not. Look at the chat. This is a collective call, collective people with the same problem, cycling. And here's what happens. We blame ourselves. And that's fundamentally what I want to do tonight. I want to unshame the healing process. And I want to step into where we're going. It's true, isn't it, Kim? But we always think it's only us. It is so true. It's absolutely so true. All you have to do is look at the chat. I don't ask you to write in the chat just to write in the chat. I ask you to write in the chat so that your fellow colleagues who are probably sharing rooms with you and sharing canteens with you can see that this thing that I have inside me, you have too. And in that, there's a de-escalating, there's a nervous system calibration between us all, that we don't have to come here and pretend. And that's the other thing that I want you to know, that this isn't for your clients tonight. This is not for your clients. This is not for the people that you serve, because you serve them really well. I want to be in service of you. This is for you. So take off the hat that is for the clients. And I always do this, and they are like, everybody was rolling their eyes because it's nearly impossible to separate the professional and the personal. But if you can, just give yourself a bit of a breath today. It's only an hour and a bit, right? And just be here for you and let the information absorb in you as opposed to your clients. You'll not be able to help thinking about your clients. I know you all too well, right? Even though I don't know you, but I know you. And I know all too well you'll be thinking all about that client and this client, and I wonder if that would fit that client. But please just do me a favor and sit inside it, inside your own heart for this presentation. So let me get our first graphic. Just so, and this is just about me being able to share these goddamn graphics and do it properly. So here's what I have in front of me. I have Zoe. I'm not sure of your name, but it's M. Finn, Sinead, Debbie, and Paulina. I'm going to share a graphic. You're like the front row, right? So I can see you. So if anything goes wrong with these graphics, will you shout at me? All right, because you can see them. And if you can't see them properly, tell me you can't see them properly. So we're going to share the first graphic so that we are around that idea of why are we here? Because if this is you, you will get the most out of this presentation this evening. You've done all of the work and you're still cycling in the emotional pain of the past. You've done all of the regulation work. You've done all of the trauma work, and you're still carrying the wounds. And you're stuck in this hope, hurt, despair cycle. Now, what is that hurt, hope, despair cycle? You're wounded. Like all of us, we're all wounded. It's various parts. You're hurt, and you hope that this thing that you're going to do will take away that hurt. And when you engage with all your heart and all your might into that thing that you think is going to take this away, whatever it is, and it doesn't, and you're back to square one, and it's despairing. And we're cycling, and we're coming back to the same place. So if, and we've already checked this out in the chat and you've all said yes, if this is you, then you're going to get the most out of this presentation this evening. And all that I ask, all that I really ask is that you apply it to yourself, which is really, really all that I ask. What I'm about to share with you is very unique. It is not heard in the field. So I'm glad, Jen, that you've took your curiosity has led you here, right? I hope to answer that curiosity, Annie. What I have come to share with you is unique in the field. It won't be unique forever. It's a process that I have come to understand through my lived experience of trauma and its transformation. And it's a process that I understand to be true through all my clinical practice. And it is a process that the PhD that I'm currently doing will prove. And it's a unique process that helps us not just trust the process of therapy, but understand the process of therapy. There is a process, believe it or not. And there's a process that is unique to us all, but has a phenomenon about it. So we can clearly see that there is this process. And if we understand the process, if you understand the process of healing, if you understand the rules and the systems around it, you will be able to find what it is that you need to heal it and move on. If you don't understand the process, if you don't understand the system of healing, then it's very, very difficult to get out. And that's fundamentally what is unique about this. It's what is unique about the work that I do. It's what's unique about the work that I bring to the world. And it's unique about what all of our in-course specialists do. So it's this incredibly unique process of understanding the therapeutic process. Now, before we go any further, I'm person-centered trained. So I'm a person-centered psychotherapist by trade, right? So that's my original training, and I'll talk a wee bit about that in a wee minute. And Carl Rogers would have a heart attack if he thought that I was going to say the following thing. We don't need to just trust the process, we need to know it. And you need to know exactly where you are within the process so that you can have the steps that are necessary to move towards wherever you want to be in that process. And that's fundamentally what I want to teach today. Now, can I back up a wee bit? I have no intention, none, of undermining anybody's therapeutic process or anybody's therapeutic framework. None. Because each and every framework that we have ever learned, each and every framework, each and every modality, everything that we have ever learned as practitioners is helpful. We're not about to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Is that fair enough? So I want everybody to relax a wee bit because I know that it's hard, right? I know that it's hard to come and hear another model whenever your own model is so firmly inside yourself. And all that I'm asking is you make a little bit of room for understanding this process the way that I'm going to teach it and the way that I'm going to show it to you. Because I can promise you this, if you can open up your mind to this alongside your own modalities, you will be the better for it in yourself. So I'm not about to disparage any other modality. I'm not about to say it's useless or rubbish, or I'm not about to do any of that. I'm about to say that we get to do that, but we also get to do this. Yeah, it's not one or the other, it's this and that. All right. And so we don't need to struggle at this moment in time with our own knowledge, because your own knowledge is beautiful and perfect. And the work that you've done this far has got you this far, and now it's the next piece of the puzzle. Is that fair enough? Is that okay? Okay. So the goal for me is this. I have to read this out because I could have 5 million goals and we could be here to like 12 o'clock the night, as most of you know we could. But this is my promise, right? The goal is to understand why you're stuck in the healing process. Does that feel, give me a thumbs up or a yes if that feels like a good goal to you. Why you're stuck in the healing process. To pinpoint the exact part of the process that you're in. Yeah? So why I'm stuck, what's happening, the exact pinpoint, just be able to say, look, this is where I am exactly. Yeah? to be able to understand the work that is needed to move forward. Yeah, good, Deborah, thank you. And then to understand the overarching system, and so that you have this big bird's eye view of exactly where you are, and where you need to go. Now that will do a few things. And keep using this word unshame, but it should unshame any of the difficulty that you hold about where you are. What does that mean? As therapists and coaches and helpers, who do we blame when we're stuck in healing? Us. Yes, Sinead, absolutely. Why? Because we should know better. We should be better. We should do better. How can I be here and help her? How can I be here and help him? How can I be in this place and hold the energy for the other? And then we internalize that shame, and we hurt ourselves and wound ourselves and annihilate ourselves. You all form the majority of people that I see clinically. So I clinically see therapists the most. And I know this to be true on a real kind of deep level. So I'm speaking to the collective here, but I know this to be true from clinical practice. So I genuinely want you to be able to have this kind of breath at the end of this that says, ah, I get it. No matter what else you do with this work, right? Because I hope I have earned the right to invite you to work with me by the end of this. But even if you don't, right? Even if this is just an hour and a half instead of scrolling, I really genuinely, heartfelt, could cry thinking about it, want you to look at this and say, that's why. And it's never about me. That's why I am where I am, and it's not my weakness. This is where I am, and it's not about my not enoughness. This is where I am, and it has never, ever, ever been about me. That is my genuine hope at the end of this, no matter what you decide to do with that. Is that, tell me how you feel about that. Is that fair enough? Okay. At the end of this as well, which would probably just be in an hour, we have a little link for you for an ebook, a supportive ebook that brings all of this information together. That if you like reading, it's in an ebook form, and there's all you have to do is download it, press the link, and you have this at the end. Leona will drop the link in for it. Good, Sinead. Good. Okay. All right. So, when I say my heartfelt energy towards this is to release you from any internalization of the process that you're in, it's simply because I have walked your walk. I have been where you were. I have been where you are, and I have loved the process of trauma and its transformation. But I remember, sitting in a lecture theatre in Queens. I did the person-centered psychotherapeutic masters there, and I remember sitting in that hall, and I remember maybe a few weeks in, and it was supposed to be the most prestigious university, the most prestigious course, and all of the rubbish that goes with it. And I remember sitting in that hall and looking around me and thinking, this isn't right. They've got this wrong. This isn't how this works. This is not how you heal. And I remember saying it to one of the lecturers, and she nearly ate me alive. She nearly devoured me. And in that moment, I realized I have to get through this process. I have to get this certification. I have to be a good girl. I have to put my head down. I have to deliver what I need to deliver, but I can't be honest about what I know. Because 10 years prior to it, does that make sense to you, Paulina? 10 years prior to it, I've had this long, long journey with the healing of trauma and its transformation. I have had this experience with primary pain that erupted in the birth of my son. And from that moment on, any of the old ways that I could manage this pain was gone. So 10 years prior to the training, I had this huge journey with trauma and its transformation on my own, by myself, with no support. And so I had this internalized understanding of the process, of the journey. And I thought that if I go to university and learn, then I'll learn what I knew. And I was dumbfounded. There I was, supposedly in one of the best places to learn, and it didn't match. What they're teaching doesn't match the truth of the inner journey. And it was a real kind of, oh my God, just get through this and get out and get into practice. And I had to go into practice. Obviously, you have to do what you have to do. You have to do your 250 hours. You have to do whatever you have to do. But I remember wanting to get into clinical practice so that I could practice what I knew, not what I'd been taught, but what I knew. And I had known it through me, and I had transformed so much of all of the aces that were in me. And I'm sure most of you have seen the TED Talk that go along with this conversation. But what I'm fundamentally saying is what we're taught and what the truth of the process is two different things. And so what I'm saying is that I want to show you the process. I want to show you that inner process so that you can navigate your way through that process and out the other end. Yeah. Yes, Lisa. Lisa's saying, and tell me what you think of that. I would love some conversation about this. I think that's why I'm learning more into nervous system rewiring and somatic experience, and you're enjoying your practice much more. Yes, Lisa, and we're going to take that a step further tonight. Okay, we're going to move beyond nervous system rewiring. We're going to take that. We're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but we're going to add so much more juice to that tonight. Has anybody ever felt like that? Has anybody ever intuitively known what they were taught and what really heals are two different things? Let me know. Yes, Sinead, of course. Let me know in the chat. Because where do you see this? There's so many people here. I mean, there's 36 people here. There's 150, two different things, David, 100%. Absolutely. So you're coming here knowing that already. This isn't news to you. You know it because you have a lived experience of it. You know it because you're sitting in rooms with other people, and you know that it doesn't match, and you know that there's something missing. I know. Yeah, you can't consciously solve an unconscious problem, Lisa. Absolutely. They teach you what they want us to know. Paulina, now we're not going to go down those rabbit holes tonight. Very good. Yeah. There's an intuition in us, isn't there? That knows that what we have doesn't meet it. So that is brilliant. Okay, so first things first. Let us look at the overarching principle. Are we ready for the first overarching principle? And then we're going to dive, right? Deep dive. I'm going to ask you loads of questions to make sure that you're applying it to yourself, and then we're going to have case studies. So we're just about the deep dive now, right? So and who's my trusty front rowers? Zoe, Finn, Sinead, Debbie, Paulina. Tell me if you can see it. If there's any problems. What do we see? Okay. Okay. We all have what I call primary pain. I'm going to get into the detail of all of this. And primary pain, resolving primary pain, is the only way to collapse the trauma patterns permanently so you're not repeating it. Now, hold on for that, right? Hold on. Primary pain is stored within a set of hierarchical systems that block access and therefore healing. If you don't understand the hierarchical systems, you can't get at the primary pain. And if you can't get at the primary pain, it'll keep looping and repeating itself. This is the fundamental principle that we are going to look at tonight. We're going to look at what primary pain is. We're going to look at the hierarchical system. We're going to look at a case study for it. And you are going to look at your own inner world through this. How does that feel to you? So I'll let you do whatever you need to do with it, and I'm going to say it again. Resolving primary pain is the only way to collapse trauma patterns permanently. So the PhD title is, it's a bit of a mouthful, but stay with me. Why a phenomenological and receptive approach to primary pain is curative in the treatment of trauma. Primary pain is the central part of this. It is not understood fully in the field. Do any literature research, it's very hard to get any data on it. They have hierarchy in physical pain, but they do not have hierarchy in emotional or mental health pain. And that's the narrative that we're changing. When you understand that everybody, whether they have tall T trauma or small T trauma, have primary pain. Every human being has primary pain. The extent of which is different for each and every person's phenomenological. But primary pain cannot be accessed because it's stored in a hierarchical system that blocks access and therefore healing, which is why you're stuck. So this is the first part of the unshaming process. You're not stuck because you're stupid. You're not stuck because you're lazy. You're not stuck because you can't. You're not stuck because you're not trying hard enough. You're not stuck because. You're stuck because primary pain isn't available to you because it's inside a hierarchical system that we do not understand yet. And once we start to understand it, then you can safely say where you are. How does that feel to you? I'm going to stop the share and come back and see and open up the chat. Okay. Okay. Right. It feels big, Debbie. I know. But what do you see? It's not that big. I promise you, right? We'll deconstruct this. It does feel big. And I have to say I agree. It can feel big to start, and I acknowledge that. Yeah, and I'm sure everybody else. Good, Miranda. Good. Okay. So what is primary pain? How do we understand primary pain? Personally, I understood primary pain because I became embodied it. Without warning, without leading myself there. I went in as a normal, bypassing human being. Does that make sense to you? Bypassing, right? Bypassed everything, pretended everything was good, everything was great. Went into hospital one day to have a child and come out fully embodied. Like that. I feel sorry for myself when I even say it. My wee heart beats broke for myself when I think about it. 25 years of age, first child, a lifetime of trauma, not available to any of it, stuffed down, squashed down, stuck in my fascia, regulated by success and all of the stuff that I did and all the positive psychology. Went into hospital, one person, came out another. Came out embodied to the fullness of the primary pain. What is primary pain? Terror, absolutely. Similar experience with your first daughter. The weirdest experience, absolutely. 100%. Happens to a lot of women. Also happens around menopause. A lot of birthing happens around, and I don't mean birthing children, I mean birthing pain. What is primary pain? Primary pain to me is Gabor Mate talks a lot about what happens within you as a result of what happened to you. Trauma is not what happens to you, it's what happens within you. But what is it that happens within is the question. And that's where our expertise, that's where our organizational expertise lies. We understand what happens within. You don't have to guess what happens within. So what happens within is this, and I want to share this document. Primary pain. We all good? We all good? Can you see that? Yeah, grand away, thank you. Primary pain is a multifaceted, multi-layered, internalized experience. And it has a totality, and this is the difference. It has a totality of somatic, emotional, autonomic nervous system, cognitive, and physical pain. It is not one or the other. It's a central place in which all of this comes together. So we in the field can fight all we want about nervous system being the way to heal, or cognition to be the way we heal, or somatic and fascia to be the way we heal. But what if it's not? What if it's a collection and a collective understanding? So what happens in primary pain is, Jung called it psychic wounding, Maddie calls it some other form of wounding. We call it primary pain. The reason we call it primary pain is because everything is organized in a hierarchy around it. What does that mean? So let me show you as an example. Is everybody with me? Everybody's with me, aye? If I flick this up, can you see that? Do you want it bigger? Is it hard to see? You want me bigger, Zoe? That better? Is that better, Jan? Yeah? Yeah, okay, good. All right, Sinead, thanks. So let's run this through as an example. So we have a gorgeous client here who has primary pain of undeserving, yeah? So they have primary pain of undeserving, unlovable. Inside that primary pain, every primary pain has a pattern. What does that mean? It doesn't exist in and of itself. It has a pattern, it has an internalized pattern, and has a pattern within that pattern. So primary pain's pattern for this client, and she's a therapist, and this is a true case study, and you can see this case study in a full format in a podcast that I did. So this client has, as a therapist, came because she was feeling like an imposter. She was feeling not good enough. She had done, I think she was more educated than me when she came. She had, she'd done every single certification that you can think about and more, and was going after the next one. And she had this remaining sense of not enoughness in herself. Was that primary pain pattern available to her? Not in its fullest form. Was she embodied to it? Not in its fullest form. She was disembodied to the primary pain, somewhat unconscious of the totality of that primary pain. But the primary pain held within it not just unlovableness, but a sense, an experience of severe hypoarousal, an experience of deep nothingness and no pointness, which was suicidal ideation. So unlovableness never came in and of itself. It came with a totality of other experiences, which is why she never touched the heart of it. Is everybody with me? Is everybody with me? So her primary pain is, I wouldn't say disembodied, but not available fully from an embodied perspective. Because can you imagine what the totality of that embodiment would be if we've just done this? You can imagine what she would experience if she was available to that primary pain. Is that everybody with me? So that's an example of primary pain. Now, what I want you to understand is what happens in the system with primary pain. What happens to your system with primary pain? It produces what we call products of primary pain. What does that mean? You have a unique psychology. You have a unique psychology and personality profile that is organized around this primary pain. And its job is to soothe, move, protect, and avoid it being re-experienced. It employs every facet of the human condition. It employs the nervous system, the proprioception, the nerves, and involves everything. Everybody with me? So now your system has a job, and it's not just your defense mechanisms like Freud taught us. It's much more than that. So now your system has a job. So now this client's system has a job. I want you to pay attention to the gray area. We're going to spend a bit of time here. Yeah? Lisa, it's mad to me because the thing that I think has created feeling unsafe in my whole system isn't even the moment that activated. Yes, I understand that. Kim, I love that you can identify with this. This is really good. So stay with me, right? Primary pain is not available. It's not like this client is conscious that she's running away from it, solving it, soothing it. She's not conscious of that at all, right? The only reason that she knows that she's got some primary pain is because of this imposter syndrome that sits outside, that's available to her in an embodied way. We'll talk about that in a minute. She has a very unique psychological profile. What does that mean? It means that she's got sublimation as a defense. Who here has sublimation as a defense? What is sublimation? Sublimation as a defense is the minute something is difficult, I need to move away from it and create the opposite, not so much the opposite of it, but I need to get away from it as quick as possible and create something good. Do you know how many therapists have sublimation? Do you know how many therapists are brilliant at making good? Yeah, these are all, tell me. Sinead's laughing her head off. Yes, Sinead, yes. Hands up who's got sublimation. Yes, that's why we do that's how we're able to do what we do, right? There's no shame in this at all. It is what it is. This is your foundational defense mechanism. You got sublimation, you are going to make hay while the sun is shining. In this case, you're going to make hay while it's raining. All right? Yep, no results, no fee, Lisa. Very good, very good. She has sublimation. If you have sublimation under primary pain, what are you going to do? You're going to do every damn course you can get your hands on. You're going to make yourself better by hook or by bloody crook. You are going to drive yourself to the altar of goodness, whether you want it or not, whether you're up for it or not, but you are going to make this good. Yeah? We know it because we love it. Not everybody has sublimation. So for those of you that don't have sublimation, that is fine. There's low. This is just her unique psychological profile, right? I want you to see yourself in it, right? If you're seeing yourself, please tell me. Now, it's a never-ending cycle, Deborah. It absolutely is. And you're speaking to your colleagues in the room when you name that out loud. Absolutely. Now, she also has a human need, a very strong need for love and connection. Right? We're not going to get into the details of that, but it's her psychological profile. So she has a very strong need for love and connection. And she seeks a lot of love and connection in order to soothe. Look at how everything's soothing the primary, solving the primary, staying away from the primary. So she does an awful lot of pleasing work. Placating, giving, fawning. And that keeps her in connection, which keeps her feeling like she deserves, which keeps her feeling at least connected. And if she's at least at the top end of this primary pain pattern covered, she'll not fall into the rest. So look what she's doing. She's pleasing, she's giving, she's fawning. However, what if we teach this client boundaries? What if we teach her to look after herself first? What happens? If pleasing, giving, and fawning is in service of the primary, and we see pleasing, giving, and fawning as a problem, and we start to correct that problem at that level, what happens? Yes, brilliant, David. The system loops back on her. She collapses under the weight of it. She cannot hold the weight of the boundaries. She can't. She cannot. I mean, her system's in disarray. And then what does she believe about herself? She's useless. She's worthless. She can't do. And the whole thing starts again. This is the hierarchy of the system. We have to know where to put our work. We have to know where to put our efforts. We cannot treat her here. It's not fair. Yeah? What if she has anxious attachment, which is another part of her psychological makeup or psychological profile? Yes, Lisa. If she's got anxious attachment, if she's got anxious attachment and needs to please as a way to hold the primary pain in place, you give her a solution to pleasing, she can't hold that solution, then she's going to fear that you're going to abandon her. Make sense? Now she's in terror. Now she's, oh my God, she's out of your mind. Does it make sense? Yes, David. Yes. Much love and it's not easy. It is absolutely not easy. But first things first, we must understand in what order we need to do this work, or we'll be forever cycling on it, which is what the problem is, right? Okay. She has an essence. What is essence? Essence is all of the stuff that Carl Rogers talked about when he talked about actualization. It's what many of the greats have talked about, when we talk about the truth of who we are, the real self, the self that we were born to be. There's a self that all of us have within us that is unique to each and every one of us. And it's that self, it's that essence that gets thwarted under the primary pain. But she has an essence of activism, an essence of variety and growth. So her system wants to be better and grow and do, and it's calling for her every day to rise, be great and be fantastic. That's her essence. That is not her wound. That is her essence. That is not a defense. That is her essence. So her essence is calling for growth. Her essence is calling for her activism to be. Her system is causing for please and giving and fawning. And so you have all of these different variations of the psychological and personality profile working for the primary pain, but against themselves. What happens? You get burnout and depression as an embodied experience. What happens? You get stuckness because you don't know what to do for doing right. At this stage, you've probably done the nervous system regulation work. Yes, you stay stuck in her. It's exhausting. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. And that's not to mention, there's a plethora of what we call primary pain products, and they're all unique and phenomenological. The word I use, phenomenological, is a word to describe as it is within you specifically. Does that make sense to you? So we have a client who is hardwired for sublimation, hardwired for growth, hardwired for success, hardwired for fawning, hardwired for giving, hardwired for pleasing, hardwired for variety, and all of the other things that are here. And because she's hardwired for it, which means it's part of her personality profile, then it's easy to do those things to cover the pain. It's easy. Now, the problem becomes when we start to try and solve the things that she's doing to keep away from the primary pain without understanding the primary pain. Does that make sense to you? So if I was working with you, I would not work in primary pain. It's too dangerous. Not yet. You're not ready for that yet. But I equally would not work in any of that sublimation. In fact, what I would say to you is sublimate away. Why? Because it's resourcing. It's helpful. I wouldn't take anything that's helpful away from you. Wouldn't touch it. Make sense to you? Because I wouldn't put your energy in something that's not going to be curative. I'm thinking the whole time, what is it that is curative here? Everybody can see what is curative. And so that moves us on to the third principle. But before we move on to the third principle, can I ask? Yes, David, another definition for trauma is unintegrated resources. Can I ask, can you see yourself in this? Can you let me know in the chat? Just put a Y. You don't have to put anything more than that. Can you see yourself? Not in the exactness. Yes, Martina. You can see, yes, 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 Jan. Yes, of course you can see yourself. This is the human condition. It is not unique to me. And it is not unique to you, Jan, or you, Debbie, or you, Paulina. It's painful to see, isn't it, Natasha? This is why I'm so passionate about my work. People ask me, how are you doing what you're doing and why are you doing what you're doing? Because I am absolutely sure that we will change the way that trauma is treated and trained in this world. Because that's what people are living with. And you know what's worse? That's what therapists are living with. And they're the people that we're supposed to give the most resources to help the other people. And it's not fair. And what's not fair is that this is turned on ourselves. And that's not fair either. And that's why I said to you at the beginning of this, I promise you, if you walk away with the unshaming of your own process, I'll have done my job and the rest will take care of itself. And I really genuinely mean that. So I also want you to take a breath, and maybe I need to take a breath. Never mind telling you to take a breath. Maybe it's me that needs to take a breath. Is my wee cheek frozen? Okay, I'll take a breath. I'll remind myself to take a breath. Hold on a minute. Okay. Let's recap. Yes, Armady, thank you. Yes, a breath. Was it too fast? Am I too fast? Am I too quick, please? Am I all right? Is it all right? Okay, all right. Okay, good, good, all right. Yes, David, integrating the resource of the breath. Thank you for the reminder. I much appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, where have we been? Okay, we've been in understanding primary pain. Check. Something that is not integrated, something that sits in the system, multi-layered, multifaceted, not available to conscious awareness, normally disembodied, not fully available through the body, not fully available inside its pattern, multi-layered, multifaceted, all the interoceptive experiences as part of it. Happy enough? How does primary pain occur? It occurs through normally experiences that overwhelm the system. That's where we get the idea of trauma, all different types of trauma, complex trauma, developmental trauma. Sometimes primary pain occurs under the weight of defining moments that we mightn't even see as trauma, we mightn't even recognize as trauma. The many clients that I have worked with that have said, I wasn't traumatized. I had a lovely family. Yeah, primary pain still exists. If you've had a lovely family and a lovely growing up or a lovely supportive system, you still can have primary pain. Told he small t trauma. You not see it as trauma, but primary pain exists. And that's our differentiation in the field, right? Where we really narrow down and differentiate. What we're then saying is the system, the human condition, is designed to protect, to solve, to soothe, to project, which is different than protect, project the possibility of this being true again. What is project? It means it warns, it shouts to the nervous system, watch out, check out. It does a myriad of things. But what it seems to do is it seems to borrow your greatness. Think about that. It borrows your essence, it borrows your greatness, it borrows your sublimation, it borrows your tenacity, it borrows your people, the part of you that's really people orientated. It enlists all of the wonderful things that you are and says, go to work. They are now a servant of this primary pain. It borrows the essence of who we are and goes to work to protect us. All of the science points towards this. What is the science? The science of this is multi-layered, right? We have the science of defense mechanisms, we have the science of essence, we have the science of our nervous system activation profiles. Are we hypo or hyper? We have the science of the hierarchy of needs. We have the science of our personality profiles. This is all in the products. These are all based in science. This is some of the great work of our contemporaries have pulled all of this information together. And what you can see when you understand primary pain is you can see the way in which the system, Freud talked about it brilliantly. He said that we as human beings cannot tolerate pain. We must seek ease or pleasure. The system is wired. It enlists the best part of you to stay away from this primary pain. Your body is brilliant because it will store the information of the primary pain, but lock it away from the mind. So the storing of the primary pain is in your body, but the mind is of no awareness and you're just in system. Does that make sense? So whenever we try to do any work that's not in service of primary pain, we get stuck. Does everybody see why we get stuck? And why you can do, I could work with this client here on a myriad of different things. I could work on nervous system regulation, helping her feel safe. What difference would that make? None. Well, that's not true. Not none. Some. She'd have some regulation. She'd be able to manage her nervous system a wee bit better. I could work on this client with her attachment style. Would it make any difference to the service of the primary pain? Absolutely not. She'd still go out and please and give. Absolutely not. Make sense? So I wouldn't waste her time. I wouldn't waste her precious life energy. There's too much life energy going on in the service of the primary pain. I wouldn't then split her attention and split her energy, giving her something else to do on top of it, which is what's happening in our system. And it's not fair. And then we blame ourselves. So let's go on to the third principle. Secondary pain. Now this is the humdinger of all humdingers. Everything's a humdinger of all humdingers, as you now get from me, right? I know I have a wee bit of a problem with hyperbole. Is that right? Anyway, I'm very exaggerating. It's the Irishness in me, Ian, I think, right? And I can tell a good story, and I can add a lot of energy to the message. But seriously, this is a humdinger, right? Secondary pain. The pain that is produced as a result of the primary and the products of the primary. What the hell, Shauna? What the hell is that? What do you mean? Let me show you. If primary is as described, and the products are doing a particular job, then the totality of those two things coming together will produce another set of problems. Does that make sense to you? Let me show you. If I have to grow and sublimate and get success to make sure that I'm lovable, how long do I have to do that for? Forever. Forever. What will that create? It'll create exhaustion. What will exhaustion create in me? Adrenal fatigue. It'll start to create secondary problems. It'll start to create physical problems. I'll start to run and look for answers. You have no idea how many clients I have seen like this, right? What's not on here is physical problems, but now that we're on that, I have a client who has agreed for the purposes of our training community to have everything taped. So she has all her sessions recorded. And such was the depth of her disembodied primary pain that she stored it physically in her body, because it was the only way she could attend it. And that physical pain in her body ended up in a myriad of medical diagnoses. So for this client, you could see she could have adrenal exhaustion easy. Is everybody happy enough with that? And it could be diagnosed. Exhaustion. Look at what she's doing. Look at the energy. Look where her life force energy is. She's going to be exhausted. She's going to be burnt out. She's going to have depression because look what happens. She's trying to do this on this side and the opposite on the other. And where's your true self? Where's your real self in all of that? Where's the authentic self? So she's now holding burnout and depression and exhaustion. She's feeling stuck. She doesn't know what way to look or what way to go. She's anxiety because the primary pain is squealing every 2 minutes about it. So the anxiety is coming from the primary pain that she doesn't understand. She can't keep this ball in the air any longer. So how close now, if she can't keep all of this in the air, how close is she to shutdown? And how close will she be to primary pain? So this is a balancing act. And every day she shows up for her clients. And every day she shows up for her clients. And every day she hears her story and them. Every day she hears a variation of her story and them. When they talk, she feels it. So there's no reprieve. And every day she feels that in them. Feels them in her. And this constant not enoughness, because this is what she's dealing with. Now she's embodied to this. What does that mean? She's embodied to the burnout. She's embodied to the depression. It means that she's feeling it. She's got it. Does that make sense? She's got it. She's aware of it. She can bring that to her supervisor or her therapist. She can bring burnout. She can bring exhaustion. She's got it. The therapist can ask her, where do you feel it? And she feels it. She can give it to you. She feels the stuckness in her tummy. She feels the depression in her heart. She feels it. She's embodied it. It's the most pressing issue. So she brings the most pressing embodied issue to the therapeutic process. And here's what I'm saying. The most embodied, the loudest pain isn't always the root cause pain. It's not. The loudest pain is just the most accessible. That's all. Our job is to work out what is the hierarchy in us. So when this client comes with imposter syndrome, how does she solve imposter syndrome? So I want you to write this in the chat, right? How does she solve imposter syndrome given her products? So she will go into action with imposter syndrome. She will try to solve it, even against the burnout, even against the exhaustion, even against she will try to solve that imposter syndrome. How? As a therapist with growth, sublimation, and success, how does she solve imposter syndrome? Tell me in the chat. More learning. Yes, Deborah. Training. Yes. Take more courses. Yes. 100%. Anybody else? She finds the moment until she finds the moment of primary pain, because she's headed back there. More client hours, fully that. Yes. More service. To be of more service. Brilliant. That's the other side, isn't it? That's the pleasing, the giving. Give more. Be more. Do more. Train more. All of this is fair, isn't it fair? If she was coming to me, this client, right? I'm not working with imposter syndrome. I'm not interested. I'm just not interested. I will hear it. I will understand it, but I'll only interested through the lens of secondary. Secondary. What is it secondary to? What is driving it? What is creating it? Okay, how do we get to the places that we need to get to? Anybody else want to add to that? How does this feel to you? Any comments? Anything, questions at this point? Are we seeing the primary, the products, and the secondary, and the hierarchy inherent? Are we seeing it in ourselves? Yeah. Good. Yeah. Does it? Because it's circular. Does it make, oh, very good. Yes. Yeah. Oh, Martina, now when I felt the imposter syndrome, I stopped taking clients. That is so unfair on you and on the beautiful clients that you do great work with. Yeah. I love this. So how do you get to the primary? Getting to primary pain is an art. It's an embodied art, and you have to walk towards it. But it's a different road, right? Now I'm going to show you that in a wee minute, right? Oh, okay. Making sense. Good, David. Good, good. Yeah, it seems impossible. I know, Deborah. I know. I know it does seem impossible, but it's not, right? And I'll show you why it's not in a wee minute. So my question to you is this. Can you see yourself? And can you have a wee bit of compassion for yourself? Just a tiny little bit. Just a little bit. Can you see yourself? Just a Y in the chat for me. Can you see yourself? Yes. I said, yes. Yes. Good. Capitals, David. Yes. Love the capitals. Wee bit of compassion. How could it be any other way than the service is secondary? It's a genuine question. How could it have been any other way other than your entire system producing secondary pain and you chase secondary pain? This is what I mean by do not trust the process, understand the process. What is the process? The process is understanding hierarchy first. Where am I? Where is my focus? Where is my attention? What work am I doing? So think about the work that you might be actively doing in this moment. The work that you're actively doing with your therapist or your coach or what work are you actively doing? And does that work that you're doing have a direct bearing on where you want to get to, according to this hierarchy? And then you understand how to pick the work and in what order. Does that make sense to you? Do you know I had a load of notes for this and I have no idea where I am? Forgot completely. Let me just check that I've done everything I should have done. Leo, I haven't missed anything, have I? No, I haven't. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, so let me just see your wee faces, right? Because we're nearly ready to wrap up. I'm going to talk a wee bit about the system and primary. Yeah. Okay. So the question seems to be in the room. How? So if it is primary that's the problem, and we're service and secondary, and we're doing all of these products business, then how do you make a difference there, right? And the difference is that there is a load of preparation work that is needed before primary will show itself. The first thing that you need to do in the healing process is understand what order you're working in, where's your hierarchy, so that you can put your attention, your intention, and your finances towards something that's important. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. I'll give you an example. When I was building out this, when I knew that I wanted to give this work to the world, and I was, filled with notions of grandeur, that I was all perfectly healed and it was all the work was done, right? And I start to go to be visible and to deliver training, right? And I start to get this feeling inside me that I had no idea was there. Because obviously, you remember, I'm perfectly healed. Yeah. I had about 7 or 8 years ago, no idea that this stuff was there. As I become more visible, I realize I've more work to do. Right? And as I realize I've more work to do, I don't pay any attention to all of the things that I see on the internet about visibility. Because why? Because I know that my problem with visibility has got something to do with something primary in me. So I attend to the primary and I don't attend to anything from a coaching perspective that would help with visibility, because that's just a plaster. Make sense? That's hierarchy. That's fundamental hierarchy. So I don't put my resources and I don't put my attention into anything that can't give me direct access. Does that make sense? Is it as easy as that? Hell no. Is it difficult to get there? Yes. But I can tell you it's better than 25 years of cycling the same stuff and never being visible. And remembering that I need to be I don't feel safe being visible. Yes, Lisa. Yes. Oh, we would have a wee ball with that. Yes, absolutely. See, I get excited. The system doesn't. Of course it doesn't. And therefore, I could train you, I could coach you on safety, I could give you nervous system regulation, but that'll not address the reason why your system doesn't feel safe. I'd be looking to find the core. Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense, Lisa? Now, will nervous system regulation help? Of course it does. That's part of what I was saying earlier. We're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It all is needed. So let me share with you the system. Our system, right? Where is it? Oh, 2 wee seconds, I think. I must have deleted it. Didn't mean to. Okay. So there we go. So this is what I fundamentally work with and do. Tell me if you can see this, because it's on a different. There are stages of preparation that are needed, right? We need to create the conditions for access to primary. That's the work. We need to create the conditions that give access to primary, and the conditions that give access to the primary pain are simple. They're embodied conditions. It's returning to the body, bringing unity, bringing clarity, bringing safe embodiment, and allowing access to that body in a way that you can regulate, self-soothe, and self-process. Once you've that done, and would you believe that this preparation work is the foundation of the work? It's not the finding. If you try to find and locate primary pain prior to preparation, you'll get stuck in all of that stuff, which is what's happening in the field. They're trying to find memory. They're trying to find primary pain through cognition. They're trying to, the answer's in the body, but the body won't give over the answer because the products are doing too much of a job. So you have to prepare the body. So on our system, we prepare, we find, and we heal to reconsolidate the wound, and we allow the becoming. That seems quite simple, but the amount of work down here is significant. It makes sense to you? Preparation becomes the key. Now, what happens when preparation becomes the key? That client that I shared here with you, everybody with me? That client here that I shared is a real client, and this is her name. You can Google her. You can Google our podcast. It'll probably come out in an email anyway. Her name is Sadie, right? And Sadie is also another person who has had all of her work recorded to provide for training. And Sadie went through this process, and this is what she has to say. This client has never been taken so deeply. She had 2 primary pain patterns that were active in her. It wasn't just one. She had 2 primary pain when we got there. And the removal of those 2 primary pain patterns has taken away her eating disorder, has taken away her eczema, has taken away her anxiety, it's taken away all her secondary problems. And this is in reality and in service of the work that we've done. Now, how long did it take me to do that work? 2 years. 2 full years, right? And this is where I hope that I've earned the right and earned the trust to offer you to shortcut that time. We have a process, brand new process of working directly with me every month. And that process of working directly with me in that heal, prepare, find, and heal process is inside our academy. So it's inside our healing experience. So I have devised the most incredible healing container. And inside this healing container, you work, it's a year-long container. And you work with me twice a month. So you'll do all of the workshops for preparation. You'll do all of the depth work with me. And then you'll do the workshops, but then we meet once a month to live coach those workshops. We call it a membership, but it's not a membership where it's a dumping ground for information. Where you have a load of resources and a load of library resources and all our courses and all sit there. But that's not what this is. So if anybody's thinking I'll come and I'll dip in and do a wee course on the side, or I'll do a wee, this is a full embodied experiential container where you get to do all the preparation work with me for a year. You follow a process of workshops and integrations. Workshop, integration, workshop, integration, workshop, integration. And it follows this map perfectly. Now, what's gorgeous about this that I couldn't do before is that what I did this before, in all honesty, and it didn't work. And here's why it didn't work. Because I didn't have enough one-to-one therapists in there with me willing to pick up the one-to-one work. Because when you get to the heal stage, you will need one-to-one work. The container itself will take you so far, and then you'll need one-to-one work. And I didn't have enough therapists trained at that time to be able to hold a container as safely as this. We do now. Which is why it's only now that I'm able to offer this with hand in my heart safety. I tried this before, but I couldn't move through people through preparation, find, and heal, because the finding work was all coming to me, and the healing work was all coming to me, and I couldn't, for one person, service 50 people. Now we have a body of those therapists inside waiting on you. But let me do your preparation work. Let me get you ready. Let me get your body ready. Let me get your system ready. Let me get you moving towards primary in a way that's safe and conducive to your healing. And then let the rest of the community help you. There's obviously discounted rates to specialists that are in there. We have healing workshops. You have access to Sadie's demos in there, libraries of resources. The amount of stuff on here is incredible, but it's not really about the stuff that's in it, because I know that I can sell stuff to therapists all day long, but I don't want to sell stuff. I don't want to enroll you in stuff, because more stuff's not going to help. Experience is what's going to help this, and doing the workshops, applying the workshops to yourself, coming for the one-to-one material, and working this through in an experienced way. And so that is what we call our healing experience. We meet monthly, twice a month. You have access to all of the gorgeous stuff that's there. You'll have continuous access for as long as you're in. We have been ruthless with the price of it, because I want it to be something that's accessible for everybody. It's a £59 a month billed monthly price. If you want a discount, you can get it for a year. It has all of these things in it. Is community in it. It has all of this. I don't really want to read through all of the things. I want to explain what you'll get personally. You'll get access fundamentally to the thing that has been holding you back for a lifetime. That's what you're going to get. And you'll get to transform that inside this community. I want you to think about it like my kitchen table, because that's how I've designed it. Like being in community with me, sitting at a table, because it's not just workshops. Like this is a workshop without your input, really. These are live, controlled workshops, whereas Q&A, Then you take the material and you apply it to yourself. And then I live coach you. So you put your hand up and say, I want you to help me with this thing that I'm trying to think through, and we live coach it. All of it doesn't get put out in the public. It's all contained. We're building an app for it so that you can have it at your fingertips. Everything's recorded, so if you can't make a session, because I know life's busy, everything's recorded, so if you can't make a session, you can come back to it. If you miss the recorded session, you can show up to the next live interactive one-on-one coaching session and ask questions. You don't have to do it in order. You can do it in whatever tickles your fancy. We hold 2 retreats a year. So we hold 2 live in-person retreats a year. The next retreat is in Malaga. Anybody fancies Malaga? We have 2 spots left for Malaga in March the 17th. They are all discounted inside once you're a member inside here. So you get that retreat, you get access to your specialists, and you work with me on a monthly basis to find this primary pain that has been that elusive. And all of that is, as I say, at 59, you can do it for the year if you wanted to commit yourself to the year. There's a few people that have done that, committed themselves as right, I'm giving myself that for the year. If you don't want to commit and you do want to try it and then you don't like it, you just cancel your membership. There's nothing in it other than just me being of service to you the way that I was here. That's everything that you get. Library of resources, tools, practices, everything starts with, it's all preparation work. It's all getting you towards the thing that is creating all of the problems so that you can be free from that. That's all. So everything that we do is a pathway for that. So what changes is that you're not looping and constantly out here servicing something that doesn't change anything. You're inside changing what matters and being free from that voice that is constantly. So that's where we're at. That is me trying to be in service of what is needed in a way that I can. What has happened for me is that I was running crazy waiting lists that I couldn't service. And I had to come up with a way of helping therapists through a process that could then help them back out into the community and help people more, and also bring some of this stuff. Whilst this is not training, please hear me, this is not training. You're not coming here from CPD, but it will fundamentally change your practice because you'll have changed yourself and you'll have met yourself at a depth that you'll have never met yourself before. But it is not CPD. Absolutely not. Yeah. Will it clash with personal therapy? It depends on your personal therapist, Jen, and it depends whether they'll be willing to integrate some of the stuff that you're learning. Yeah, you can keep going, Natasha. I'm only saying that it's a year's program, but you can come in and out of this. I'm not going to throw you out after the year, I promise. You can stay with me for as long as you want. I'd be very happy. But by the year, I would have hoped that you wouldn't be just cycling in the same stuff. You know, life happens, Natasha, right? And I get that. You know, parents get sick, partners, things happen, children, if you have children, you know, I get that completely, right? But here's the thing. If you're working with me over the year, we'll have moved you. It's designed in a way to move you step by step very safely towards that primary. And then it's designed for a team of therapists to be waiting in the wings if you want it one-to-one at discounted rates. So I would be hoping that I wouldn't be doing the same thing the system's doing, which is just keeping you there forever. But that's why I'm saying it's a year. But if life happens and you wanted to come in and out of it and repeat it, then that's absolutely so that's the answer to you, Emma, as well. I have about a year. You could move through it quicker. And that, yes, Lisa, we have a suite of training, right? But I can promise you this, right? We have a suite of training. We have level 1 core, we have level 2 core, we have level 3 core, and we have an introductory safe embodiment course that moves you into this, right? You're going to learn safe embodiment inside this course for yourself. I'm going to teach you self-embodiment. I would thoroughly join this before I would join training, because here's why. You see the people that do their own work, they're better at the training. They'll get the training like that. The training will come all in good time, but I would want to be in service of you. Now, I'm being really honest, Lisa, that doesn't service my training company. But that's not what this is about today. I could say to you, oh yeah, go and join all the training, but that's not what this is about. Here's what I know fundamentally. Do you see some of our best therapists? They've done the depth of their own work, and the training has been second. It's been water off a duck's back to them. It has been easy peasy because they've done their own work. So I would encourage you, yes, you can look at our training, and I'll not put you off your notion if you wanted to be training, but I wouldn't want you back in that loop. I'd rather support you in yourself, and then you can decide if the training is right for you. Does that make sense? Oh, David, how do I become consciously clear? It's an embodied process and it takes preparation. Yeah. How much time does it take out of the day to day? We will do, you know, funny enough, we're having a session on the 11th, which is what, Wednesday. So our first big workshop's on the 11th, and we start this process on the 11th. So it's about a 2-hour odd workshop, and then about a 2-hour odd live coaching session when we try to implement what we've learned in the workshops and the live coaching. A lot of people will watch the recordings and still learn, but I would encourage you to, if you can, so I would encourage you to show up live and commit to it. It's only 4 hours a month. It's all it is. 4 hours a month for you to move through a process. And we take it incredibly. They run every Wednesday. We have the dates for the year already all sorted, so you can have them in your calendar. So they run every second Wednesday, and we have all of those dates organised, and they run at night time. I do them at night time, 7:30 on a Wednesday night, so that it's out of your calendar, not a part of your day, so you're not rushing. I wanted it to be something that you could arrive at in the evening like this and take a bit of time for yourselves and come and do it. You know, some of these will have spent this time with me. How long are we here now? It's 9 o'clock. How did that happen? My Lord, what the hell happened there? Okay, so it's 9 o'clock, and some of these might think, I couldn't bear spending 2 hours a week or a month or 4 hours a month with her. Then this isn't for you. Right? This is not for you if you couldn't bear that. And let me say, this is not a normal workshop. There's some people on here that have been in my workshops. This is not a normal workshop. The workshops are live and interactive. Cameras on, mics off, full out. You know, let's get down and dirty and into the detail here. So they're very interactive and they're very informative, but they're really in service of you. So if there's any more questions, because it's 9 o'clock now, I think. Can I ask you one question before I ask anything else? Have I served my intention? Do you feel less bad about yourself? That's it. Do you feel less bad about yourself? Do you feel, please tell me yes, or this whole time will be bloody wasted. Thank you, Sinead. I'll take that. Yes. Do you feel it? Do you feel invigorated? Good, soul. Good. Yes. You've been looking in the wrong cupboards. That's the only problem. That's all it is, right? Cycling because you've been looking in the wrong cupboards. That's it. That's as simple as it gets, I can promise you. The rest now, what do we do? The rest is up to you. Oh, yes, Sandra, you have been so harsh. Absolutely. Yes. Loved yourself a little more. Yes, good. That's what we want, right? That's the start. The link for the ebook that I promised Leona's going to drop. There it is there, right? That was my promise, that we would service you with this gorgeous ebook that explains all of that and helps you out a wee bit, right? So that's there. There's all you do is press the link and you should get it, right? If there's any problems, come back to us, but there's the link. You can press that link now. And the link for the We are keeping, for anybody that's done this workshop, we are keeping the link to the membership open for 48 hours. So if you want to join, thank you, Christine. I'm so delighted. If you want to join the membership, there's a 48-hour window for you to join. Is that fair enough? So the link for the workbook is there, and if you want to join the membership, the link is there. Leon will throw the link in as well. Will you? Oh, it'll be in an email now. Leon is the boss, as you can see. I do what I'm told. So the link will be out on an email now, but remember, there's two links. There's a link for the link for the membership if you're going to join me, and I'll see you on Wednesday night if you're going to join me for our first workshop. And then the link then is for the free workbook that goes along with this. So there's two links, all right? Okay, if it was a Monday, I would have a glass of wine, but I'm not going to because it is Monday. I could lay it on at Saturday, maybe. What do you think, Kath? Could I lay it on at Saturday and have a wee glass? Maybe not. Brilliant. Okay, thank you all so much. You are so kind. Thank you for giving me your time and attention. I hope that I moved the dial a tiny bit. Thank you, Yin, for all your comments. Thank you, Sol. I hope to see as many of you inside the membership as possible, and we will be in touch via email. Much love. Take care. Look after yourselves. All right. We're doing great work out there. Much work to do, but doing great work. So congratulations and look after yourselves. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.